So in the previous bull run, we were one of the largest channels making videos about the top altcoins, and those altcoins ended up having some insane runs. This year, however, is a little different. The same altcoins that had those massive run-ups may not have the same potential it did before, and with the narratives that exist today, we have a completely different list than what I had talked about in previous videos. You see, I believe this cycle here is going to be the last and final chance for regular people like you and I to be able to make life-changing money from investing into crypto. After this, there's a solid chance we may never see crypto coming back to the same lows it once hit before, and that's why it's more important now more than ever to be fully prepared to know which cryptos to buy and which cryptos you should be on the lookout for. All right, so in this video here, I'm going to be sharing with you what we need to see in order to get a 10x and reveal to you the major catalysts on what is coming up next. I'm also going to be going in detail, step by step, on how to actually make a consistent 10x between your crypto trades, followed by my list of the top crypto coins that you should be on the lookout for that I think are positioned best to have a massive, explosive run up for this year. So to begin, first of all, you need to understand this before buying any kind of altcoin, and this is just the basic structure of how the market flows. So in order for altcoins to do well, Bitcoin needs to do well. In order for Bitcoin to do well, the S&P 500 needs to do well. In order for the stock market and the S&P 500 to have a consistent, even neutral level, we must have controlled interest rates. Now, the man behind the one controlling those interest rate hikes is the one that reads off current inflation data. So where are we right now with inflation? Well, right now, the federal government does not expect inflation to reach 2% until 2026. The good news here is the S&P 500 officially entered bull market territory back in June of 2023, and it still finished off the year up 24%. Now, the bad news here is the New York Fed's recession probability model suggests a 62.9% chance of a US recession happening within the next 12 months. Now, my only pushback to that is the fact that the government here has been calling for a recession for over a year, when indeed the market has been doing the exact opposite. Only time will tell, but I am personally very bullish on the US economy continuing its trajectory of growth. Now, with that being said, let's go over some good news and cover some updates regarding the crypto market, starting with the biggest headline that we have had within the crypto markets, which is the fact that the first Bitcoin ETF was approved alongside other pending Bitcoin ETFs. So since then, Bitcoin had a very volatile time. We saw Bitcoin climbing up. It had a taper off. Right now it's consolidating. We'll go more into the price action later, but the main takeaway is this: since the ETF has opened, we've seen over $10 billion getting traded in the last week. Now, the significance here with the Bitcoin ETF is not the fact that we would have had all this money just waiting on the sideline, coming in, pumping up the price. The Bitcoin ETF is a moment where it's going to take a bit more time for us to start seeing the transition of a lot of that old money, a lot of those retirement funds slowly piling into Bitcoin. I'm still very bullish on the fact that all has gone well. We are still seeing a lot of good inflow. And although the price action of Bitcoin hasn't necessarily reflected the good news that we got behind the ETF, I still am very long-term bullish. Now, let's not also forget the Bitcoin halving event. This is still coming up. There's nothing stopping this. And right now, we're still projected to see this happen within the next 2 to 3 months. As I mentioned in previous videos, the Bitcoin halving cycle has resulted in major price increases with this asset every single time. During the first halving, Bitcoin was trading at $12, and a year later, it was trading at $1,178. This year was a 9,716% increase, or a 97x its original amount. Now, in the second halving event, Bitcoin went from a measly $657 all the way up to $19,800 in a year and a half. The third Bitcoin halving, which is the one that most of us went through, was during the COVID pandemic, where Bitcoin went from $9,000 to $65,000 in less than a year, and then made its $69,000 all-time high before the end of 2021. Now, while this is far from enough data for any meaningful projections, if the pattern that we've encountered before in history happens once again, we could expect to see a 7-fold price increase during the upcoming fourth halving era, which would then take the price range of Bitcoin past $138,000. Now, one resource I like to take a peek at is the Bitcoin rainbow chart. So the way this works is based on previous price movement, we can get an idea of when Bitcoin is deemed to be a buy or sell. Now, look, this is a rainbow, okay, folks? It is not going to be 100% accurate, but it can help you at least zoom out in the moments when things start to get real crazy. You also notice the 4 different halving events that we talked about, and the 4th one that is approaching today. And at the time of filming this video, you're also going to be getting an indicator of when might be a good time to sell. So according to this chart, right now, Bitcoin is in the the green, which is still in the accumulation phase, but anytime you're going up towards the red, that's when you want to consider selling. Even in previous moments when Bitcoin was rallying and heating up, it was in the red for a brief moment before it started to cool back down. Now, according to even the charts here, we're still pretty far off from the maximum bubble territory of how high this cycle might have lasted. It'd be a different story if Bitcoin was already climbing up to over $100,000. That is a point where you really want to consider selling those bags off the table and not being a holder. So now that we cover that, how do you make a 10x in crypto? If you want to make any significant gains in crypto, like a 10x, you need to look at market caps, more specifically mid cap and low cap tokens. Look, even if you timed the bottom of Bitcoin as perfect as you can within this cycle, you will not get a 10 to 20x from holding Bitcoin long. I'd even take it a step further and say that even if you were to trade an altcoin as successful as Solana this season, you're not going to get a 10x. This is simply because of the fact that if you want to make money in crypto, you need to get new investors in. You need to buy low and sell high. In order for your favorite crypto project to reach that certain price target that you have set, it will not get there if the market cap that you have set is unreasonable. So understanding market cap is going to give you an idea on whether or not a crypto will keep climbing or if it's going to run out of steam. To put even more simply, market cap is just the price per coin times the circulating supply. So say as an example, if we wanted Bitcoin to do a 10x, we would have to expect the market cap to also go up 10x, and that would value it at $8.42 trillion. Now, is that possible? Well, yes, maybe with the whole ETF and a lot of new money coming in, but as bullish as I am on Bitcoin, that's going to take a lot of money from the world in order for us to lift that up. To put it into the context of even the most crazy bull run that we experienced last time around, the entire crypto market cap was sitting at around just $3 trillion. Now, look, it doesn't mean it's impossible, okay? Gold's market cap is currently at $13.56 trillion, and a lot of the Bitcoin maxis have been claiming Bitcoin one day would overtake gold in the principle of holding money and being a safe asset that would be a hedge against the inflation that exists. Now, Bitcoin is ranked number 10 in accordance to all the top market caps across the world. Now, as important as it is to understand what the market cap is on some of these tokens that you might be looking at, you cannot neglect fully diluted market caps either. This is because if you don't pay attention to the fully diluted market cap on some of these projects, you could get severely dumped on. The main difference here is that a fully diluted market cap takes into account the maximum possible supply. So sometimes there are projects that have coins that are not yet minted or mined. A lot of times, many new projects also have a fraction of the total supply in the circulation, which could also be dangerous for someone who doesn't understand the times when some of these projects would unlock those tokens. This is where doing your research as much as you can is going to be so important before you decide to ape in as a degen on some of these projects. With that said, our goal this year is clear. It's to find plays that will replace or flip previous bull run projects from having a much smaller market cap at the moment you invest. Now, if you want to make a 10x in crypto, you must realize this. At some point, all of this will come crashing down, and what goes up always comes down. This here is particularly true within the crypto market because crypto works in cycles. You get in and you need to do your best to get out before everyone starts running out of the building. I think this is also a good time here for me to mention a disclaimer as clear as day that crypto is beyond ridiculous. Have the expectation that the money that you invest into crypto is money that you can afford to lose. Aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum as long-term conservative plays, a lot of these small cap, micro cap coins are highly speculative and they are very risky. Remember, in any market, if there's a high risk for upside, there is always a high risk of downside. If you've ever heard anyone telling you, look, Jimmy, there's only upside if you decide to invest in this thing and there's nothing for you to lose. If you hear that, run for your life because it is surely a scam. So before we kick things off, let's take a look at Bitcoin. It's now up about 100%. So if you bought in, even if you didn't get in at the exact bottom at $16,000, you would still be up over 100%. Now, the Bitcoin ETF is something we talked about in our private Discord community in Kaizen, which is also linked down below. And this is where I sold about $20,000 worth of my Bitcoin here right at the $46,700 level. Since then, Bitcoin has obviously retraced during this week. Right now, we're sitting at $41,000. It is correcting. It is cooling back. But I personally believe right now, even with the red that we're seeing, this is nothing to be worried about. I'm actually enjoying these moments of dips because it is going to be the time where you can now start placing bets on some of these other altcoins if you did not have a chance to get in earlier this year. Now, until Bitcoin hits $50,000, what I predict is we're going to see a lot more sideways action with high cap and mid cap altcoins moving, you know, a little up and down. We're going to probably see a few breakouts with smaller coins, but for the most part, I'd still expect a lot of altcoins to be following the basic pathway of Bitcoin. Now, look, folks, let's just play a hypothetical. Say Bitcoin at the end of the year hits $100,000. Say that is the path. Along that journey, you have to assume that bears will be screaming as loud as they can every second of the way. Even according to the data that we've shown right now from historic evidence, we are seeing a higher likelihood that Bitcoin is bullish. And with this ETF that recently got approved, I believe right now we are still positioning ourselves to fit the narrative of seeing a over $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. Now, Bitcoin hits $100,000, you decide to buy in now, you're still doubling your money, but it is with the altcoins that you can then hit those 10Xs. All right, so let's kick it off. I'm gonna start by going over some more conservative plays, then going into some of the stronger narratives that I predict can continue to gain popularity this year. I'll back it up with some of the data that we've seen with historic tokens in the last bull market. And then also with each coin that I mentioned, I'll give you guys a price analysis with some TA on it, just so that you guys have a better point of entry. All right, so one category of crypto tokens that I'm extremely bullish on, especially this year, are exchange tokens. During a proper bull run, exchange tokens often see a surge in demand due to increased trading volume, and we've seen this firsthand with price action from before. Now, while a lot of people are risking their entire net worth and mortgaging everything just to go into some of these plays that I'm highly convicted most are just falling knives, I believe exchange tokens still give you a layer of safety. Take a look right now, even alongside the top cryptocurrency. What will you notice? Well, you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, but what's under that? We got BNB. BNB is Binance. This here is an exchange token. Now, hold your horses. This is not an exchange token that I would personally get involved with right now. With current regulations stepping up and seeing how far the market cap has already stretched, I don't think you're going to be seeing outsized returns versus the possibility of this token going further down. Now, BNB had an all-time high hit before of around $650. It is about halfway underneath of that, but there are several other exchange tokens that I think may be worth checking out. So one exchange token that I've had a sizable bag in for quite a while now is going to be Crow. So Crow has rebranded to Kronos, also known as the Crypto.com coin. When they first released, they were also called Monero. This is some old school news, not relevant to today. But while they were developing their exchange and coming out with their app, we were able to see a pretty good amount of price movement even through the market conditions. Now, Crow at one point during the peak hit 81 cents. Currently, they're at 8 cents. This right here is already positioning itself to be a 10x if it goes back to those previous all-time highs. Now, if we compare the price action to Crow and what we've seen even with Bitcoin, you'll notice that Crow actually took off much later within the bull market cycle. Now, what I found most interesting is how Crow has not had any crazy price movement, even though Bitcoin this time around has been experiencing some decent type of growth. With Binance having a market cap of over $47 billion and Crow just having a fraction of that, I think exchange tokens still have a very strong chance to have outsized gains within this market. Now, Crypto.com has lined themselves up also from the previous bull market with some pretty solid partnerships. This includes the UFC, even the Formula One race. They're also one of the most regulated exchanges in the world, and with all the craziness of exchanges collapsing, Terra Luna going down, all the mess that we saw, Crypto.com, led by their CEO, Chris, I thought did a great job in the bear market settling nerves of investors. Now, by holding exchange tokens just like Crow, you often get benefits such as reduced transaction fees, access to exclusive events or features, or even profit-sharing models where you can receive a portion of an exchange's trading fees or income through staking. Crypto.com's staking feature comes from their Crow card. They basically give you a debit card where you can buy things with your crypto linked straight to your wallet account. Now, if they go ahead and release any updates to improve their current platform geared more towards the US, which I still think is a strong possibility, I believe this could be the ultimate catalyst for seeing this crypto doing even more than a 10x. Now remember, Crow got basically a 10x in the last bull market, and I imagine if Bitcoin was at over $100,000, then Crow could even blow past $2 or $3. Now, according to the charts, Crow is in a long-term upward trend. It's up 80% from its lows with the current price of about 8 cents at the time of filming this video. There's current resistance right now at the 800 moving average, which is the purple line at around 11 cents. Now, Crow hit this level a few times in the previous months and got rejected each time, triggering a fall in price. So the current support line is going to be the 200 MA, the brown line at around the 80 cent level. Now, when it comes to exchange tokens, you also have to realize that there are two subsets. So you're going to have your centralized exchanges and then also your decentralized exchanges, also known as your DEX. This includes things like Uniswap, your PancakeSwap, I mean, a ton of other cryptos. And if we take a look at the performance of even some of them when they first released, you'll notice that they had insane upward trajectory gains too. Now, I personally don't think Uniswap is going to have another 10x. If it did, I'd be placing some bets, but I think as we move forward, the narrative behind these DEXs is a bit farther past gone. Regardless, one other token that I'm keeping an eye out on is going to be OKB. This token here is related to OKX, and they have a much larger market cap than Crypto.com, but OKX is also one of the largest exchanges in the world, and they currently rank 3rd in terms of liquidity and 4th in trading volume, and they also provide a wide selection of different trading pairs. Now, OKB has also forever been in an uptrend since its launch in January 2019. From recent lows in June 2022, OKB is up over 450% with the current price of $55. Now, OKB made an all-time high back a month ago in December, and it managed to climb to $65. But however, since then, it has fallen 15%, which is in line with all the other crypto altcoins that we've seen in the market. What I love about exchange tokens is that I believe this actually has real utility, where as long as the crypto market is still clearly bullish, these are tokens that I think will naturally go up without having the risk of just losing it all in a token project that you've just heard about. All right, so upcoming next, I'm actually pretty excited about this narrative here, and this is surrounding Solana. This is because with Solana, I had a lot of involvement in the previous bull run. We were flipping $10,000 to $20,000 NFTs almost weekly within the Solana ecosystem. And what's even more interesting than that is just how far along Solana has outperformed its competitor altcoins in the past few years. So taking a look at your screen, if you invested $100 into the crypto bear market low on the 21st of November of 2022, your investment, if it was with Solana, would be up $864 compared to where if you put it with AVAX, it'd be $309. Bitcoin, it'd be $286. Ethereum, it'd be up $200. ADA, $171. XRP, $156. Dogecoin, $105. Even in this current bull run, Solana was hyped up once again. Right now for this year, they're up over 300%. So it's safe to say, Solana, they definitely on something. This is a crypto here where they tend to rally hard at the start of any market cycle. Now, I personally think Solana could rally once more, but if you want that 10x, you're not going to be considering Solana at its current price. Even in this past year, they hit their all-time high of $121. Since then, it's been correcting a bit more, but looking back at its way previous all-time high, it was at $258 per token. So what's the play behind this? Well, you can invest into infrastructure plays under Solana's network, or you can also find the next Solana narrative forming. Inside of Solana's ecosystem, there are a ton of related tokens. Now, obviously, even Chainlink, I still think they are personally undervalued. Their market cap is a fraction of Solana, but they're still used in so many different layer ones. Alongside that, you'll see other tokens like Render, the Graph, which I'm also still very long-term bullish on. Now, a lot of these other cryptocurrencies that you'll see related to Solana, they're not necessarily infrastructure cryptos, but things like GMT, these are apps or games developed on Solana's network. Now, I remember even using GMT in the previous bull run. Those were some fun times. This was a game where basically you would download it, and the more you walked and the more you stepped, the more they would pay you out in crypto. Aside from those tokens, I like looking at new layer 1 projects developing. Right now, the ones that I've been seeing heating up is going to be Injective, Paxos, and Anchor. Keep in mind, Solana did as well as it did because it did solve real problems. When everyone was forced to use Ethereum, and we at one point were paying ridiculous gas fees, and transactions were just getting slowed down even further with more and more people using it for different appliances like the NFT market or even crypto games, Solana came in and really became a strong alternative. They've come in and they really did a good job in shaping the blockchain trilemma, where they maximize speed, scalability, and security. Now, with a lot of these different layer ones, just know it is a gamble. Some of them might not ever even take off too. I know Avalanche is also a contender that heated up quite a bit in the last bull run. This year was another great layer 1, and they came in during the second half of last year, but right now it is correlating pretty well with the price action of Bitcoin. So if you have bags already with them, you should be pretty happy if you bought in near any time Bitcoin was at that $16,000 to $20,000 range. Now, out of all the layer 1s, this one here is going to be a pretty risky play. This is going going to be Telos. So Telos is a growing network enabling zero-knowledge technology for unlimited scalability and privacy to support all industries and applications. They're pretty much trying to become another layer 1. The benefit here is that they're built off an entirely new blockchain using an improved and modified version of the open source EOSIO software. According to their site, they can process 15,200 transactions per second. They can swap over 1,800 transactions per second, and their gas fees cost less than 0.001 on Telos. Now, this is a project. It is super early. I went ahead, I found their roadmap. They're not even going to have anything releasing or launching until later at the end of this year, meaning it is extremely high risk. According to the TA, Telos has also had a nice run from its lows in October and is currently still up about 250% with a price of about 20 cents. Now, it's likely that Telos is going to retreat to the next support zone of about 2 to even 18 cents to consolidate before continuing another leg higher. This here is just going to be a risk, but if you are looking for the 10 to 20x's, it's going to be projects that are this early on, where it's still nothing more of skepticism, where you're placing a bet. This is the importance of not putting loads and loads of money that you are feeding your family with, okay? When it comes to crypto and you're going for these higher risk plays, make sure that you are not investing money that you will not lose sleep over. With that being said, the next narrative that has been blowing up is gaming and GameFi. Even now, at the time of filming this video, Apple is now soon to be releasing that new metaverse headset. And within the world of gaming, GameFi, metaverse is like that second cousin right next to it, knocking on his door. Now, back a few years ago, I actually presented a TED Talk on the metaverse. I'm still very bullish on the metaverse. I believe it's going to be implemented in the work that we do in schools, in education, in entertainment. And it seems like even with Apple taking this step, we are getting some of the largest companies in the world moving towards where I'd say metaverse was claimed even more by the entire crypto world. Now, even the last bull run, I played and invested into a lot of games that I'll say, honestly, they really weren't all that great. Sandbox, Axie Infinity. I mean, it's hard to play those games when you can literally go on your PS5 or Xbox and you're playing these AAA rated games multiplayer online with skins and servers. And it just seems like crypto games is way off the mark. But this gap here that you see, this is where that opportunity to make money for you to score big comes into play. All right, so Sandbox is huge. They were all over Cointelegraph, all the news articles. Every influencer was talking about it at a certain point. And that's because when they opened up, it was about at 30 cents, but then they blew up to hit an all-time high of over $7.50. Now, here's what I love about games. It's going to be a hit or a miss, but games still have utility. And the difference between crypto games and a lot of the traditional games that have been around for a while is the fact that where they are incorporating the aspect that everyone's been wanting for years is where you can make money by playing games. Like, I remember for me when I was living at home with my parents, like, they would not like it when I was playing video games. Now, if I'm playing some of these video games where I might be earning more money than they are from their job, it's really hard to defeat that. So what can we draw from this? Well, Sandbox, a gaming crypto, had an explosive run up. I could say that some of these games had similar parabolic levels where you're getting 10, 20, 30 X's versus some of the layer ones where it wouldn't be as easy to catch earlier on. Now, Sandbox also had its leg up towards the much later half of that bull run. Even comparing it right now to the price action of Bitcoin, you'll see that it was towards the end cycle where it also hit its peak. Now, one project I was flipping through the bull market and making a ton of money on was Axie Infinity. They hit a high of $157, starting at just $4 per token. When you see projects that have opened up for just pennies and going up as high as over a couple $100, this is the type of plays that I want you guys to know about so that you guys can experience that life-changing wealth as well. Now, what is one thing that I talked about earlier in this video that we're seeing reoccurrences of even now? It's the fact that when coins pump as hard as they do, they will come back down. So do not get greedy within the markets no matter what happens. So knowing all this information, well, how do we play it this year? Well, there are also two ways. You can bet on infrastructure, so the different tokens that allow project developers to build on them, or you can find games that you really, really like and bet that that is going to be the one that takes off. Now, obviously, the second option where you're betting on games is going to be a lot more higher risk because there's going to be many, many games. There's also the chance where Treyarch, Activision, these companies that make Fortnite and have mastered Minecraft, they come in and they gamify their experience and they do what crypto projects have been trying to do for many, many years. That could just completely nuke someone who went all in on individual games. But if you want to play a bit more conservatively, you can buy the tokens of some of those infrastructure projects. So one of those projects is going to be Immutable X. This has been getting a lot of talks around Twitter. I've been seeing it trending on CoinMarketCap, and that's because they have been experiencing a decent run up. So far, they're up about 221%, and this is because IMX is the first layer 2 solution for scaling NFTs on Ethereum. But right now, they also offer offer massive scalability with zero gas fees. And what they're able to achieve with NFTs, they are now through utilizing those ZK rollup solutions, appealing even more towards the mainstream games that are getting developed. At the moment, right now, Immutable X seems to be one of the best scaling solutions when it comes to games and NFTs. And I still think there's a strong possibility of another run up. If we go into the gaming category here, Immutable X currently has one of the highest market caps. They are at $2.5 billion. So don't imagine, a huge, massive explosion unless we get even more positive news within the gaming industry or the crypto market just starts going parabolic. Another good option would be Beam. You'll see them down here. They're also at a fraction of a market cap, and they also have an advantage where they claim that they're just not your average blockchain, but they stand out as a holistic gaming ecosystem built to magnify the joys of gaming while they still incorporate their rigorous developers and testing features to make their platform universal to everyone. Look, a lot of words, I know. With crypto, the lingo and the jargon, it goes all over the place. Just know that Beam is also another alternative if you're looking for an infrastructure play within the whole gaming space. If you do decide to invest into any one of these gaming cryptocurrencies, just know that it's going to take time. This is because games just take a long time to develop. Then even after that, players need to get on it. Then they need to invite their other friends, and they need to then be able to maintain a good game for other people. So I don't expect the whole gaming crypto thing to just take off in the next even 12 months. I think this is a very long-term play for the next 2 to 3 years. Now, taking a look at some of the price action for Beam, we'll look at the 4-hour chart. This token has been in a consolidation zone between these 2 cent and even the 1 cent mark since early December, and it looks like this is going to be an accumulation zone for a lot of whales trying to get into the space. From what I'm seeing, it looks like we are gearing up for a breakout and onto new all-time highs, but I do think it could take some time for it to play out. Beam is also hand in hand working with Avalanche, another token we mentioned earlier. So if you did want to take a step back and wanted to invest on a quote-unquote safer token, when in reality, guys, I don't think any of this stuff is safe out here. All of this can just get nuked instantly. You still have an opportunity to get some exposure to Beam by investing into a higher layer 1 solution like Avalanche. All right, those are some infrastructures. One crypto game that I have personally played from last few years that I bought NFTs on that I'm still bullish on is going to be Gala Games. Gala here is sitting at under a $1 billion market cap. They kind of got wrecked this past week with Bitcoin going down as well. And so far this year, they haven't had a huge explosion. They're actually down about 48% for the last 1 year, but Gala does have good funding. They do have good backers. And this is one project that I am long-term bullish on within the gaming ecosystem. Now, nothing bullish about the charts that you'll see here. They rejected the horizontal resistance and they've fallen since. And Gala has also moved below the 50 moving average on the daily. And upon retest, they got rejected over and over again. And I think this is just with the fact that a lot of Gala's games right now, they're still just building. They're just cruising right now. But as things pick up within the space, I expect this is a token that will also see a revival. Now, the next market to be on the lookout for, if you're trying to score a 10, 20, 30x, is going to be GambleFi. Now, even outside of crypto, gambling itself is a whole market. Now, a lot of the times when people hear gambling, they just think roulette, they think the wheel, they think poker. But gambling actually encompasses a wide umbrella, similar to what they're doing within the crypto markets. So the narrative on this fits so well. Even as a first-time user, I downloaded DraftKings during the pandemic because they wanted to actually sponsor one of my videos back on this channel a while ago. I put $5,000 into the app and I noticed a few things. First of all, I could not gamble like in my little area of Maryland. I had to like walk somewhere else to actually be eligible to gamble. It was really weird. But then also the payouts, they were terrible. The last time I used a traditional gambling app, I ended up betting on the Jake Paul fight. I forgot who he fought, but he won. And my payout, I thought it was gonna be good because I was risking $100. So okay, I'll probably make $50, $100, but my payout was 15 bucks. This is because a lot of these companies too, they need to have their margin, they need to make their money, but within crypto, a lot of this, when it's laid out on the blockchain, it's transparent. The profits, they're all laid out. Token holders can find themselves even earning a percentage of transactions. I think gambling is gonna be huge within the market. There are a ton of small projects lining up within the space. Even if I take you through this category of market caps, you'll notice that the highest one here is Rollbit. Rollbit would, however, be the one crypto that I would personally invest into. This doesn't mean you guys should too, by the way. Another full clear disclaimer, okay? None of this, you're gonna lose all your money. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. I don't know a clue or a thing that I'm talking about. But what I do know is this, Rollbit right now is an online crypto casino. They were founded in 2020. I have several close friends of mine who actually use it. They think it's a great platform. And this right now, I believe is a token that's gonna lead the pathway for the entire gambling industry. Now, if you wanna look into more of the higher risk plays, you got a lot of choices. Some of these market caps are so small, it's unbelievable, like $48,000. So please do your proper due diligence. I am bullish on Rollbit. I am bullish on the whole gambling industry. But like with any project, make sure you do your research. All right, next play that we have that I see could potentially still play out is going to be the BRC20 ordinal craze play. So if you've been around previous cycles and you've bought an NFT before, or you've ever used a MetaMask, chances are you've probably used Ethereum off the ERC20 network. With Bitcoin heating up and Bitcoin still being the king or the staple image of crypto, the narrative that I see continue to hold strong is this whole BRC20 craze. So BRC20 is the idea of using Bitcoin's blockchain data in order to process some of these other transactions and have different utility behind what Bitcoin's intention was really meant for. Now, you should all know what Bitcoin's intention was made for. If you don't, please watch my How to Invest in Crypto video. That's like a full 1 to 2 hour long masterclass, completely free on YouTube. You guys have been loving that video. If you haven't seen that, check that out too. Maybe it's not your favorite video ever. It's a little boring, but there's a lot of value there. I'll say that. So BRC20 tokens, these are plays that have not just only done 5x's, 10x's, but they have done multiple 100x returns so far. In the latest report, Binance Research said that BRC20 tokens ushered in a new era for Bitcoin. If you are someone who is a Bitcoin maximalist, okay, you refuse to buy any altcoins, you're just a Bitcoin holder, this may line up best with you. Binance reported that Bitcoin ordinals, inscriptions, and BRC tokens impacted Bitcoin's growth and dominance in 2023. This here further supports the use case of Bitcoin Layer 2 solutions. Now, there's a few ways that you can get in on this action. You can do what I mentioned earlier, infrastructure, or just buying straight up ordinals. I would say the safer bet here is going to be to buy up the infrastructures, which I think a good token to consider is going to be MUBI. Now, MUBI, also known as Multibit, is the first ever dual-sided bridge designed for easy cross-network transactions between BRC20 and ERC20 tokens. Now, their mission is simple. It's to first serve the Bitcoin ecosystem, but also increase the liquidity and accessibility between those ERC and BRC tokens. Now, look, this still here is a long shot, but MUBI is up over 3,200% in the last 1 year, and in the last month, they have been cooling down. MUBI has fallen from its previous all-time high, which was around 35 cents, and since then, it has bottomed out to create a strong support level at around the 13-cent mark. Now, the current resistance level it's going to need a break and hold is going to be 25 cents, but I believe after it breaks that, we can definitely see a bullish trajectory for it to break that previous all-time high of 34 cents. All right, next narrative for you to make those 10x plays, AI. AI has been popping. It is still popping. A lot of these chatbots are getting created, but what I've noticed within the crypto world is that these projects that were never AI focused are now suddenly seeing the appeal of the AI narrative, and they're just slapping different little AI words onto their website and calling themselves an AI project when initially, and even now, they still really aren't. Now, it's for good reason. It's because a lot of money will be made within the AI sector. Even in the past year, with seeing ChatGPT coming out, it has completely changed the way that I've been able to run our business here. Like, would you believe me that even everything I'm saying right now was written by AI at this point? Okay, I'm just capping right there. It's not that good yet, but I do suspect a future where it could be. All right, so if you're looking to make some AI plays, one of them is going to be Render. Another token to be on the lookout for is Akash, also known as AKT, and then you also have AIT Protocol, AIT. So Render is currently ranked number 53 in market cap, and it's considered to be one of the top leading AI coins. Currently, they are up about 1,400% since June 22nd lows. Render did, however, reject the horizontal resistance level of $5.20, but they have found support at the $3.40 level. In the last month, they have cooled off quite a bit, but in about 1 year period, they have been up about 625%, so a decent run. Now, the last all-time high of Render was at $7.46, and with the current market cap at about $1.5 billion, I still think there is a strong chance for this crypto to grow. Now, Akash, it's a much smaller crypto. The market cap is at about $649 million, and this token on the TA has been nuts. So, Akash has been consistently breaking resistance, retesting, and moving higher. They're actually showing the most healthy way a crypto could actually go, and that is just the staircase, typical resistance, break it, cool down, resistance, break it, cool down. And currently with this project, they have broken that all-time high of $2.67. They created a new high of $3.20. And it looks like, according to the Fibonacci indicator, the key future resistance levels is that it's going to break $3.80 and then even $4.45. Last AI crypto to mention, this is going to be AIT. Now, AIT, this is a small token. This is probably the smallest one that I'm going to mention here on this list. So please be absolutely very careful when anytime you buy something this early on. What I will say is that they have a beautiful website. They do have what it seems like a viable product that could hold good benefits down the road. Now, AIT protocol, look, mark my words, they're 16 cents right now. If the bull market continues, Bitcoin starts flying up, I imagine that they could even break anything close to even near $1. It looks to me that we could expect to see a breakout, but with any token, do your own due diligence, check out their app. You can always look them up, open up their website, open up their own apps, play around with it, see how it feels. And if you're able to feel any slightly bit bullish, that's when you can consider making those plays. All right, so that right there is going over at least 10 different crypto altcoins that I think are posed to do a 10x or more this season. Before I close this out, I need to reiterate, guys, things are looking good for crypto. I'm getting so excited, more than ever before, about what's to come up. I'm gonna make a follow-up video just going more in depth about some of the holdings that I have, because we actually did do a really good trade with the recent Bitcoin coming down. I myself and all of our analysts within our private membership group have been crushing it with the trades. Remember to not get overly greedy in these markets. Take your profits. It is never a loss for you to take money that you've made out. So if you did enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe down below. Check out our group Kaizen. And if you guys need access to an exchange where you want to pick up some of these tokens, check out my links down below. I have a link to Coinbase where you can get up to $200 by completing just a series of basic steps. If you're outside of the US, we'll have a bunch of other different exchanges, and we've actually gone ahead and reached out to those exchanges to get them the best deal for you guys, my viewers, signing up down below. So if you're to sign up for some of these exchanges without using our link, you probably wouldn't get any trading benefit or discount on the fees. But if you use our links, you'll either get a welcome bonus for the amount of money that you put into the app, or you're gonna go ahead and get a trading discount. Now, one last thing, if you guys do wanna go ahead and check out our group, we are on WAP. We've been getting a ton of 5-star reviews. Our members have been crushing it. They've been loving it. Our coaches have been posting wins nearly every single day, and I would love for you guys to join as well. If you're scared about investing into the market, the best way to improve your odds of making money in this market is being surrounded by like-minded individuals who are also winning in these market conditions too. I wish when my portfolio passed the 7-figure mark that someone was next to me and they told me, Brian, things are getting a little crazy now, okay? It's maybe a time for you to sell. With our group, you're gonna get better guidance. You're gonna have access to my coaches that are some of the best in this world on making these trades. So if you guys wanna go ahead and join our community, follow alongside the people, I truly believe it is worth the investment that you put in. Go ahead and join using the link down below. Thank you all so much again for watching. Be sure to follow me over on Twitter and on Instagram. I know Twitter, I am dead. I'm not active on there, but things might change as well. So go ahead, shoot me a follow there, and follow me on Instagram if you guys wanna see a sneak peek of my life. Love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.